Welcome to ECED 501. Our course is in a bit of a state of flux. Right now, I anticipate that we will be online for the foreseeable future. We are supposed to be hybrid. I'm hoping we'll be able to get in at least one face-to-face meeting, but I don't know if that will be possible. It's March 16th today. I looked on the Fairfax County Public Schools website, and where they were closed until April 10th last week, that was the guidance. Now it's saying until further notice. So hopefully we'll be able to meet at some point, but for right now, we're going to carry on as if this class is going to be online for the full semester. So I'm going to walk you through Blackboard and the syllabus today, and hopefully this will answer some of your questions. Even though we're going to meet online and we're going to work this course very similar to how I worked 505, there may be a class or two on our Thursday meeting time where we actually meet synchronously online. So I'm going to work on setting up a Blackboard Collaborate session so that we can meet online at least once if we can't meet in person. So, and again, I'm sorry for all the background noise. You could just hear the beep. All of the kids are home. I think my husband finally left. So these are new times for us in teaching online, having everybody home that we're not used to having home. So here is our Blackboard, and this looks very similar to what you saw in 505. Usually I structure all of my courses exactly the same. I'm actually going to hide this link right now because you don't need to do your assessment at the moment. This is what the Blackboard page looks like. We've got our home page. We've got the syllabus. I have not updated the syllabus. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is, even though it still says we have face-to-face classes. But other than that, the syllabus stands. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. We've got our weekly modules. I have the first 3 weeks open and ready to go. I am still, although I have all the content in here, some of the timing moved around, and you can see I've got dates from last year. So I'm still working on weeks 4 through 7. I hope to have those up by the end of this week. If not this week, they'll be up by next week. So I will get it all open for you very soon. We have our discussion board, and this is going to work a little bit differently than how it's worked in the past because we have these article annotations. So it's going to get very full very fast, but we're going to just go with the flow on that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have your place to submit assignments, and when I get through the syllabus and talk about individual assignments, we'll flip on back over to here. And then you do have another key assessment, and it's in here, but I'm not going to open it right now. So I'll open it towards the end of the semester, but you will put together 2 of your assignments into the key assessment and submit here. And you also have to do what we call dispositions, and these are your professionalism standards for the teaching profession. And when I open up TK20, then your dispositions will open as well, and you'll have to complete that survey. You just rate yourself. That's it. It's not a test. It's not a big thing. You don't have to worry about it. So I'll open that later in the semester. So that is Blackboard, pretty standard. For those emails that I send out as announcements, you can always find them right here. I don't send them as emails. I send them as announcements, and so that they're always housed here and you don't have to worry about it. So you can always go back and refer to them in this spot right here. So let's get over to the syllabus. And so again, these face-to-face meetings have been canceled at this point. We know that the first 3 have definitely been canceled because Fairfax County Public Schools are closed until at least April 10th from what we understand now. So, and all classes on the George Mason campus, the Fairfax campus, have been moved to the virtual environment as well. So we really don't have a place to meet at this point. So, just like all of our other courses, you have your learning outcomes or objectives right here. These are the objectives for the course. This course is focused on development. We look at development through adolescence. Even though our early childhood program only goes up to age 8, we do have to cover development through adolescence. It's part of the VDOE regulations, even for early childhood. So we do cover development up through adolescence. We also have to cover giftedness in this course as well, development of giftedness. So those are a couple of things. The giftedness is new this year based on the revised regulations from VDOE. So we'll talk about that later in the course. But everything is pretty standard. You should have seen, this is kind of the format of all of our syllabi, so it should be familiar to you. You have to have a copy of the APA publication manual. This is a required document or a required textbook in every single course. If you don't have it, make sure you get it. You cannot get by with just using Purdue OWL. Even though I link that in my class as a quick resource, you really need to have the APA manual. This is the style of writing that we use in education, and it's just something you need to get familiar with. Here's our textbook, the Lightfoot and Cole textbook. Make sure you have a copy of it. You can have an ebook. You can have the hard copy, whatever you want. I recommend that you rent this book. This is not one of the ones that I would spend the money on to purchase. It's a great book. It's a really comprehensive book, but it's one. There are other books if you're worried about which ones you can buy, which ones you can't buy. This is one I would rent for later. These are the articles that you have to read. You'll read some of them and you'll comment on the others, the summaries that your classmates post. And so I will link all of these throughout the course. They're not linked in one place. They're linked in specific weeks. So don't worry about these at the moment. They will be available on Blackboard. You don't have to go and look for them. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. You can always search through our library. I suggest if you want PDF copies of these right away, go to Blackboard. Let me get you back over to Blackboard and click on Libraries right here. When you click on Libraries, you can do Find Books Articles, and then just pop the title in right here. Copy and paste the title in, and it will take you to where you can download for full text articles. And if you make sure you're signed into Blackboard when you do this, and then you do have access for these full text documents. So you should be good. Let me get back into our course. There we go. Okay, so let's go back to the syllabus. Those are the required readings in addition to the textbook. These readings are required for this course, these articles. Here is a quick overview. We are going to stick to this due date calendar. We're starting when we're supposed to start. We're going to end when we're supposed to end. And these due dates are our due dates for the course. So make sure you keep note of them. The article annotations are going to be different. They're supposed to be in-class discussions. We're going to do them on the discussion board. So just keep that in mind. But they are due, these article annotations, when you're assigned your article summary, they're due before class. So they're due before 5 o'clock. I think I put 4 o'clock as the time that they're due because we need to discuss them that night. So make sure you're still reserving Thursday evenings because we will be on the discussion board discussing our articles. The rest of the work that you do week to week, you can do asynchronously, but I do want you meeting online on Thursday nights so that we can hold some type of discussion around these articles. And I'll explain that when we talk about assignments a little bit later. So these article annotations, again, I'm going to talk about them when we talk about Blackboard because that's where they're going to be posted. But you have a template to use. Again, it's posted on Blackboard for these article annotations. When we're studying about infants, there are 4 articles to read. You will read one of these articles and I will assign you which article you read, and that is on Blackboard. Once you read the article, you create your own summary of the article based on the template, and you're going to post it to Blackboard by a certain time. Then, so whoever has this will post it to Blackboard. Then you're going to go and discuss, within those sections, you're going to go and discuss the articles. There's no better way to organize it on Blackboard for right now. So this is what we're going to do for infants. If I can find a better way, we'll do a different method for toddlers and then maybe a different one for early elementary. There are other things that I can use. I can use Poplet. I can use Flipgrid. So I might use some of those for the toddler and the early elementary. But for infants, because it's due next week, we're sticking with the discussion board for this one. So I'll explain it when we get over to Blackboard. Developmental milestones. There is a sheet that describes the assignment on Blackboard under assignments. I'll show you where it is. You have to do 3 developmental milestone assignments, 1 for infants, 1 for toddlers and preschoolers, and 1 for early elementary. You're going to create 1 document and submit that document 3 times. The first time you submit it, it will have the milestones for infants. The second time you submit it, it will have the milestones for infants and toddlers and preschoolers. And the third time you submit it, it will have the milestones for infants, toddlers and preschoolers, and early elementary. This way you have 1 document at the end that has developmental milestones birth to age 8. So I want you to have 1 good resource by the end of the course. So that's how you're going to build this document. You're going to do a research paper, a 5 to 7 page research paper that is cited. That means you're using in-text citations from your textbook, from your articles, and from additional research that you do. This paper is written as a research paper in APA format, and you're going to discuss how family and family structure, socioeconomic status, language and culture, school and communities all affect child development. So it's a simple research paper. As long as you address each one of these characteristics or factors in your paper, you'll do fine. Later in the semester, we are going to do an adolescent development and gifted student development activity, and that it's supposed to be an in-class activity. We'll see how that plays out with this online class, but there will be something at the end of the semester where we're looking at adolescent development and giftedness as well. And then finally, you have a case study analysis. Again, infant, toddler, preschool, early elementary. There's 3 different case studies. You will be assigned 1 of those case studies, 1 video to watch, and you will write a paper and discuss what you observe in physical development, cognitive development, social emotional development, and speech language development. So you're going to observe what you see in the video. You're going to cite where that is, where developmentally that child is, and cite it. And then you're going to also tie it to some of the theories that we study, whether it's Piaget or Vygotsky, whatever, or Bronfenbrenner, whatever theories you study that support development, you can go ahead and cite those as well. So that is pretty much what we will be doing. Attendance and participation, we will talk about that later in the semester. There is a self-evaluation. I will have you do the self-evaluation at the end. Again, this is kind of changing as we go because the format has changed. So I will let you know what we're going to do for these 25 points. The written assignment, grading scale, this is all boilerplate, same as in 505. All of these bullet points for attendance and participation are the same as well. And then here's our schedule. So make sure that you're reading the chapters and all of the readings at the very beginning of the week. Check and make sure when your assignments are due. I tend to put the due date in as well. So make sure you're watching the due dates. And as I build, I will add these readings. I have not added these to Blackboard yet, so I will add them and link them in the weekly module, so everything will be together. And I will also post all of the chapter PowerPoints, the reviews of the PowerPoints that come from the publisher, so those should be on Blackboard as well. And that's pretty much it. When you're writing your multiple influences paper, because it is part of the key assessment, the standards are right here. Remember, just like in 505, you have to be at the meets or exceeds standard when you're submitting this at the end of the semester. When you're writing this paper and submitting it for a grade, make sure that you're checking these criteria so that you don't have to make changes at the end of the semester. But you will submit the multiple influences paper and the case study analysis together in one paper to TK20. And again, here are the standards that you have to meet or exceed when you turn this into TK20 because you are scored. You turn in the assignments for a grade, and then at the end of the semester, you turn in the full paper to be scored in TK20. That's about it for the syllabus. I will meet you over on Blackboard for the next video.